When Congresswoman LaMonica McIver confronted Secretary Kristi Noem, she didn't come armed with political talking points. She came with the lived experiences of people in her district, students, workers, and families who are being left behind by policies that prize control over compassion, fear over fairness, and cruelty over care. Her words cut through the usual noise of partisan hearings and spoke to something far deeper: what it means for a government to serve with compassion, humanity, and accountability.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member. A lot has been said, and I expect a lot more will be said about the department's interaction with members of this body when it comes to oversight. But this is not about me. Madam Secretary, it's not every day we have a cabinet member before this committee. As you know, the members of this committee have constitutional oversight responsibility for your department, and there are many things regarding this administration's homeland security policies that require our immediate attention. That is the work I am here to do today and every day. Secretary, this committee and the American people deserve answers for the actions of the Department of Homeland Security under this administration and the policies that have been put into place. The department has overseen a regime of cruelty, chaos, and deep disregard for human dignity, all under the pretense of security. The department is being mismanaged, and its policies undermine our nation's values. This does not make us safer, the exact opposite, exactly. Secretary, we need answers about your department's union busting at TSA, deporting U.S. citizens, terminating the legal status of international students for no apparent reason, and disregarding the rule of law. None of these issues at your department exist in a vacuum. In fact, they are all fundamentally connected to the administration's overarching cruelty. We want to hear from you because we are hoping you can make it make sense for us. Because with all due respect, we are all trying to understand why in the world this is taking place. In my district and around this nation, countless international students had their visas revoked without due process, without warning, and without any regard for how this would devastate their lives. These are students who came here to learn, to build their futures, and join our workforce, only to have the rug pulled out from under them by this department's actions. How can we expect international students to trust our institutions and contribute to our economy when we treat them like they've done something wrong just because they are here? Are we no longer the home of the American dream? I also want you to understand DHS's impact on our entire workforce. I proudly represent over 1,000 dedicated TSA workers who had the right to unionize. But that right has been stripped away by your department. This is an attack on the people who safeguard our skies and whose dedication we rely on now more than ever. And the destruction doesn't stop there. I represent communities that live in constant fear each and every day. Families too terrified to step outside and send their kids to school, go grocery shopping, or take a trip to the doctor because of the harassment of ICE and Homeland Security. This isn't public safety, it's state-sponsored fear. I understand that this administration believes that it is its business to scare people into submission and act alone with no regard for the law to decide who is worthy to live in this country or not. However, it is this committee's business to make sure your department is held accountable and to get the American people the answers they've been looking for. So, with that, Madam Secretary, I have a few yes or no questions. Do you agree that revoking student visas without notice can cause fear and confusion among international students? Yes or no?
Congressman, I do not.
Congresswoman, but yes or no?
Congresswoman, I do not decide legal status or visa programs for
I'll
students.
take that as a yes. Do you support restoring full collective bargaining rights for TSA employees? Yes or no?
Ma'am, currently today TSA does not have the
yes
ability
or no?
to unionize.
Okay, take that as a no. Do you believe that TSA workers should make a livable wage? Yes or no?
Yes, TSA workers are critically important to
Thank you for that. Are you aware that recent student visa revocations occur without due process or proper notification?
Ma'am, I don't make a determination of status.
Yes or no?
The Department of State does
I'm guessing
that.
You don't know? Okay. Do you believe that TSA workers have the right to better workplace conditions?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
TSA
great. Thank you for
workers
that.
are incredibly
Do you
important
believe
to
that
us.
students should have an opportunity to appeal before their visas are revoked? Yes or no?
All processes are followed and that are set out as tools.
I'm guessing
and
it's a no. Okay,
processes
one more
in
last
Congress.
question in 9 seconds. Do you believe that revoking collective bargaining rights for TSA workers affects their morale and job performance? Yes or no?
I believe TSA is critically important.
Okay,
in the
I'll take
future,
that
and
as
they
a,
have
maybe
been-
you don't know, maybe it's yes or no.
Gentlelady's time has
That I
expired.
will-
I now
that I
recognize
yield.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Let's start with those international students she mentioned. These are young people who traveled across the world trusting America's promise that if you work hard, learn, and play by the rules, you'll have a fair chance. Revoking their visas without warning isn't just a bureaucratic mistake, it's a betrayal of that promise. It sends a chilling message that America's doors are open only when convenient, and that the dreams so many have risked everything for can vanish overnight because of political decisions made in secret. McIver's question, "Are we no longer the home of the American dream?" hits at the heart of that hypocrisy. Then there's the issue of TSA workers. These are the people who show up before dawn, who protect millions of travelers every single day, who do one of the toughest jobs in public service. Yet under Noem's department, their right to unionize has been stripped away. That's not just a labor issue, it's a justice issue. Collective bargaining is how workers defend themselves against unsafe conditions, unfair treatment, and low pay. When you take that away, you're not just silencing a workforce, you're telling them their voice doesn't matter. And when McIver pressed on whether TSA workers deserve a livable wage, the hesitation from Noem said everything. It revealed a deeper divide between those who see workers as expendable and those who see them as essential. Because when we talk about security, it shouldn't just mean metal detectors and border patrols. It should mean economic security, workplace security, and the basic dignity of being paid fairly for the hard work you do. McIver also spoke about families living in fear, ordinary people who worry that stepping outside could mean being targeted by immigration enforcement. That is not the America we claim to be. A government that rules through intimidation cannot claim to represent freedom. When our immigration system turns into an instrument of fear, it erodes not only trust, but the very fabric of democracy itself. The thread connecting all of this, from union busting to deportations, from revoked visas to fear in our neighborhoods, is the absence of empathy. McIver called it a regime of cruelty, chaos, and deep disregard for human dignity. That's not rhetoric, that's reality for countless people across this country. Her line of questioning was more than political theater. It was a demand for clarity in a system built on confusion. When she asked yes or no questions, she wasn't being combative, she was demanding accountability. Because in a healthy democracy, the people's representatives shouldn't have to fight tooth and nail just to get a straight answer about policies that affect millions. What McIver did in that hearing was bring humanity back into the conversation. She reminded us that public policy isn't abstract. It's about people, workers trying to pay rent, students trying to learn, families trying to live without fear. And that's why this moment matters. Because leadership is not about how tough you sound at a podium. It's about how you treat the most vulnerable under your care. Compassion and security are not opposites. They are inseparable. A nation that forgets that truth loses not only its moral compass, but its strength. So as we reflect on this exchange, let's remember McIver's call for accountability wasn't about scoring points. It was about restoring trust. It was about holding power to the same standard we expect from every citizen: fairness, honesty, and respect for human dignity. And if you believe that America should once again lead with empathy, fairness, and decency, then moments like this are a reminder that it's not just about who's in office. It's about what kind of country we choose to be. Now's the time to stay informed, stay engaged, and demand that our leaders live up to the values they swear to defend. Because democracy only works when we hold it accountable, and when compassion, not cruelty, is at the heart of our politics.